I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, you can't
Hi, hotties, kettles, tea stirs. You here for hot tea. All commentary is alleged, and in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only. As you guys know, Lamh Huntsville came on this past Saturday, and we got a chance to see more of the Fletchers and their family dynamic, and we have to talk about it. And producers, this is what we're looking for. In my opinion, and y'all get in the comments, this is giving me the vibes of Lamh Huntsville season 1. It's the raw authenticity, the openness, the honesty, the transparent conversations and reactions that I am absolutely here for. However, I have been telling you guys that I like Neil, I like this, I like that, but there are a few things within her character that I've seen based on the past episode that I don't know. And we got to talk about it. So let's get into it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so you guys are up to date each and every time that I upload. Before I get into my breakdown of the Fletchers family, producers, this is what y'all need to pay attention to. You cannot keep jumping between authenticity and fake shit. So we're getting 2 weeks of the Fletchers in their real, raw, authentic selves. And now you're about to jump us back to the fake ass Scotts. I need y'all to be able to see how the audience can clearly tell the difference between real story and fake fabricated nonsense that the Scotts have been giving us. Both the Scotts, 1 point and 2 point trash, have been giving us nothing. But here, y'all have thrown the Fletchers on our TV screens, and we love it. The realness, the rawness, we're able to relate to them because they're not trying to act as if they're picture perfect. Yes, they're successful. They're a black family, but they go through the highs and lows like any other black family, and I respect that. So producers, we can see the difference. I know y'all think the audience are idiots, just like the Scotts, but we can see the difference. We can see the true, real, authentic reactions from this family, and we can see the fake, fabricated nonsense that y'all have continued to allow the Scotts to throw on TV. So I'm saying this so y'all can see we're fucking begging y'all. Okay, producers, we're fucking begging y'all to do something about the fake shit the Scotts have been bringing onto this show. Because like I said, and y'all get in the comments, they're not going to be able to continue to flip between the real stories of the Fletchers and the Holts, and even Tiffany and Kiki. They're giving us real story versus the damn Scotts. And I don't give a damn what y'all say. Stormy is fake as hell, okay? The Scotts and Stormy, they have some type of fake ass alliance going on that I can read through. But I'm so sorry, that's not why we're here. Let's go ahead and get into the Fletcher family because, baby, they gave us a mouthful, and this is the type of stuff that I want to talk about because it's real. It is what black families are going through, and I actually understand so much of what is going on. We had to come over here to talk about it. So I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions prior to. I'm going to show you guys the video after my thoughts and opinions, and then we're going to come back and break the actual video down because there are some mannerisms, there are some type of reactions from the family that I just have to call out. I can automatically tell you right now, the baby Kayla and Alexi, they have a lot of animosity amongst the two of them. And because I have been placed in a family where I've gotten to be the oldest, and I'm not sure how much younger Kayla is to Alexi, but I have this experience to where I'm the eldest over on, I don't even want to I cannot give y'all too much of my personal information because I told y'all we're going to do the deep dive about me growing up, being raised by a narc behind the wall whenever I get ready to get that geared up or whenever I create another page to get that part geared up. But baby, when I watched this scene with the Fletchers, the fact that I understood so many of their points is crazy. So here's my thoughts about this entire situation. And I'm just going to start with Chris and Neil Fletcher in the way that they have decided to handle their daughter in this matter. And because I'm actually extremely interested in the Fletchers and their family and their story, I'm actually going to do more of a deep dive on them just later on. It's going to take me time to really thoroughly get into the Fletchers family. As far as Chris and Neil go, I can tell that Neil have a bit of animosity toward Chris's daughter. And granted, they sat on the couch last episode and said that they don't have his kid, my kid, they're all family. But I can clearly tell that throughout the time, there have been a lot of discrepancies amongst Neil and Alexi's mother. And Alexi, and this is all my opinion, but Alexi, in my opinion, takes great offense to the way that Chris and Neil raises the children that they share together and Neil's son versus her. And this is one of the problems that are often communicated within Black families or in families in general. But these are also some of the things that men don't think about when they out here creating broken fucking homes. Because one thing that I am just going to stand on is the fact that Alexi is probably a fucking whiny ass crybaby, granted. But I think that it is wrong for them to make her feel invalidated or to try to invalidate her feelings or her experience within the family. Because at the end of the day, whether they try to raise all of their kids together in close knit, Alexi has a different mother than all of the other children sitting at the table. So whether y'all like it or not, that in itself is always going to make her feel differently than the other children. And as far as Lance go, Lance is still not going to be able to understand Alexi's disposition because Alexi is Chris's daughter. Lance is Nell's son. Lance get to be in the house and get to do the day-to-days because what do they say? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. For the most part, kids grow up with their mothers. Of course, kids can have their fathers in their lives, but for the most part, when we're talking about separations and things like that, kids end up being with their mother. So here's one thing we cannot invalidate about Alexi's experience, and that's the fact that her experience can very well be a bit different, seeing as though she does not have the same mother like the other children. Now, does this mean that the family don't have underhanded pressure or they don't have feelings toward Alexi because Alexi maybe mimics and acts and says some of the same things that her mom says or have taught her throughout the years? Valid. That can be very valid. But at the end of the day, in order to get through this patch that the Fletchers have going on, in my opinion, and granted, I'm 26 years old. Y'all probably think I don't know shit. I'm probably still wet behind the ears to a lot of y'all. But my generation of people have been very consistent in discussing breaking the generational curses that we have seen so many of our family be comfortable with hiding and sitting in and taking into generations and generations. So I will say that we are the generation that is a lot more open with discussing and breaking down things that the family wouldn't normally discuss or talk about or break down. And so another thing when it comes to Alexi and the others, because that's kind of how they treated her at the table. The way Chris basically sat back and kind of let it all explode lets me know one of two things, right? Chris vibes and Nell controls the household. I can almost guarantee you that if Alexi's mother created any type of dysfunction or chaos back in the day, not saying that she has, I'm just saying, because these two people met when their children were 1. So I'm sure maybe there was a possibility that Alexi's mother probably wasn't even over Chris and maybe created a lot of, chaos in the background. Maybe. I'm not saying that that's facts or that's valid. I'm just saying this is what this interaction or this miscommunication or issues with the family may have started. But because Nell seemingly is the one that is in control of the household, I can maybe tell that if Alexi's mother was disrespectful, rude, or something of the sort, Chris went with what made Nell feel comfortable versus Chris stepping in and doing what is best for the child solely and completely, because both women may have their feelings involved in the interaction. Again, I'm not saying that this is what happened. I'm not saying that this is the timeline of the Fletchers or the issues, but I'm just saying based on the interaction, I feel like this maybe have something to do with it. Because again, when Chris met Nell, both of their children were 1. And honestly, that's when they were dating. Who's to say that Chris didn't meet Nell when, the Alexi was not all the way born yet? You know what I'm saying? We don't really know, but I'm ready to find out, okay? I'm ready to break it down because the Fletchers are the moment. Now, moving on. One thing that I want to just throw in here that I was going to leave for the next video, when Alexi got up and stormed out and Nell said, that's why I told you not to bring her. Nell, now, this is the issue that I have with that comment and that statement, because that is supposedly y'all's daughter. You are basically invalidating her experience and her feelings just by merely not acknowledging what she's saying. All you have to do, Nell, is acknowledge what she's saying, whether you agree with it or not, so she can get her healing together. But the fact that you feel like everything that she's saying is invalid, and on top of that, you had the gall to chuck out of your mouth to her father, see, you shouldn't have brought her, because truth be told, she's known her dad longer than you've known her dad. I don't know, hell. But you are his wife. Imagine how his daughter is gonna feel when she goes back and she watches the clip after she just sat down and tried to explain to y'all why she feels like an outsider, how you further validate her feelings of being an outsider by telling her father, I told you shouldn't have invited her. Basically letting her know that you already had a conversation about not inviting her, but Chris, wanted to invite his daughter. You let it be known that you didn't even want her there. But Chris is the one that invited his daughter. Nell, the reason why I have an issue with that even coming out of your fucking mouth is because you are the type of woman that tries to co-sign and still are friends with the nigga that took his fucking ex-wife to court for full custody of her children. You sat in front of that raggedy ass man face and told him that it was wrong that Mel didn't say hey to him when the motherfucker is taking her to court for full custody of her children. Right? You are the same woman that can literally sit up and still be friends with a man that is taking his ex-wife to court for her kids, even though he was the one that was cheating on her and had the infidelities for 5+ years, ma'am. Yeah. So this is the problem that I be having when it comes to women. There's no way you can be as kind to a man like Walkie Talkie and utter the type of words that you said about your daughter on national television. That's the type of shit that I don't like. So when I said at the beginning of this video, like, yeah, I like Nell, this, that, and the third, but it's a few things about her character that are real questionable, those are one of the motherfucking things. Because now I want to know if Chris cheated on you with Alexi's mom sometime in the beginning of y'all relationship or something like that. Because what is this animosity that you have toward your daughter, right? Now, we're going to pause on that because I remember saying in my last video that Kayla, which was the baby, Nell's, well, she's not the baby, but she's Nell's and Chris' daughter together. We didn't hear much from her, but she started to speak up in this episode. And one thing that I've realized is Kayla, too, has a lot of animosity toward Alexi. And what I would break this down to be is a culture clash and obviously a misunderstanding. Here's why. Because I, too, have a family dynamic where I am the eldest on, pertaining to my dad's side of things. And then he is a Looney Tune narc that done went and made a damn baby that is many years my younger, okay? And Kayla and Alexi may not have that much of an age gap, even though I don't know, in my opinion, they got about 5 years of an age gap plus. Y'all let me know. I got to go back and, like I said, really do a deep dive and understand the family. I just really want to talk about this one specific scene. So what I've associated Kayla's and Alexi animosity to be is, I believe, and this is all my opinion, okay? I believe that Kayla, being Chris's daughter, the baby daughter, she takes great offense to Alexi calling her dad out. In my opinion, Alexi almost feels entitled to speak out against her father or call her dad out because she's his first daughter. She's the number one. She's the eldest. And that's typically, in my opinion, kind of how things be panning out in families, big families. And also, there's a misunderstanding because Alexi maybe have gotten a chance to experience her father or experience the version of her father that Kayla didn't get a chance to experience, right? So that's also a disconnect that happens within families. Kayla, being the youngest, probably got a chance to experience a better version of Chris, whereas Alexi got a chance to experience the growing version of Chris. Y'all know that there are some children, which typically are the eldest, they grow with their parents versus the baby. They end up getting whatever they had grown into. They end up getting that version of parents. I also think that can be a disconnect. Alexi could be jealous of who Chris is to the other children. And again, Kayla could feel some type of way that Alexi could speak out against her dad because Kayla have an experience of her father that Alexi may not have. Now, the reason why I bring this up, because I haven't necessarily gone through this, but I have experienced a version of my father to where my youngest sister would never probably know who that man is. And I'm almost positive if he raised her to be anything like me, she's going to take offense to me calling his motherfucking ass out. And I just believe that is just a disconnect in families because, again, the baby could feel like, oh, my dad, because, daddy's girls. My dad, he's a good dad. He's this, he's that. But they probably don't know the version of their father's father. You know what I mean? Do y'all know what I mean? Like, how your dad could be young or your mom could be young, wild, reckless, and you growing up with your parents around that time. And then, however many years later, they have another baby and they cool, calm. They the damn manager of a corporation and, driving nice cars and stuff now. Now you not getting dropped off with your grandma or whatever the case may be. Who knows? But all I'm saying is there are versions of parents that kids get to experience. And parents do not realize that sometimes, depending on how you deal with your children, this can create a sibling rivalry. So you have to be careful with the things that you choose to say out of your mouth. And based on what Nell chose to say at the table when Alexi got up and ran out, that lets me know that she probably is the reason for some of this sibling rivalry. Because at the end of the day, it's pretty much clear and cut, in my opinion. It's obvious that if she grew up in a different household, that her experience would obviously be a tad bit different than the kids that grew up in the same household with mother and father. Like, let's not try to invalidate that. We're not saying that y'all treated her differently, but based on what I just saw, y'all is definitely treating that girl differently. I don't give a damn what y'all say. Based on that alone. Again, I won't even judge y'all based on why y'all feel like y'all treat her differently, because everybody's feelings are valid. That is the conversation that we need to start having in these conversations with family as we try to break these generational curses. Alexi's feelings are valid. You get what I'm saying? I feel like Nell, if she can really open up and really be a little bit more vulnerable about what that animosity is with Alexi, I feel like she would actually be valid, right? And even Alexi's mother, if Alexi's mother feels some type of way, all I'm saying is all of these feelings and issues are valid, but we have to start with, cause and effect, right? In order for these people to actually start healing. I ain't no damn therapist, right? But I be in therapy, baby. And I know it don't seem like it because I be cussing people out. But hey, the Fletchers need their own show, okay? They need their own show. And then as far as the baby, Chris Jr., he is like the typical black man, in my opinion, in today's generations. Overly coddled, overly nurtured, spoiled. He can't provide shit. He don't want to provide shit. He ain't protecting shit, don't want to protect shit. So there you go when it comes to that. I feel like he is exactly what CNG be talking about. It doesn't matter how hard you try to fight to raise your black sons. And this is just something that I'm quoting from CNG that I partially agree with. For the most part, I agree with. As I'm growing, I'm just realizing. But it doesn't matter if you try to raise them in a 2-parent household or not. The culture, black male culture, is very toxic. So they're going to grow up to be influenced by their not their culture, but by their counterparts and the people that are influencing them. If they're co-signing the toxic culture, that is what typically they're going to grow to be. So he can be sitting next to his successful ass dad all he fucking wants, with his mom all he wants. Again, if he wants to fit in and do things to make himself seem popular, and right now what's popular is locks, not working, cheating on girls, having chains, driving Chargers, then that's what he's probably going to try to associate himself with to fit into his times. So until we change the actual culture, there's not, you get what you know what I'm saying? If y'all know Sinji, y'all know her. If y'all don't, y'all don't. Do not try to get in the comments and go back and forth with me about who the fuck your son is. Because if you raise your son to be decent, good for you, okay? Good for you. Good for you. Because that's not the point that I'm making. I'm not saying that y'all are intentionally raising y'all sons to be bad people. What I'm saying is you're a goddamn woman. And this is just for the single women, because I just know somebody single gonna get in the comments and try to talk to me about how good they son are. And again, I don't give a damn. Okay, because that's not the damn point that I'm making. And at the end of the day, if you were a single woman and you raised your son and he never in trouble and this, that, and the third, that's granted, right? That's valid, granted. But you still can't raise a man to be a man. You can only raise your son to be kind, loving, to be a good human. You can raise your son to be a good person. You cannot, as a woman, raise a boy into a man. That's just the mother effing facts, okay? And we need to start holding these men accountable. They need to start raising these sons. They need to change this culture. They need to, but if y'all keep being delusional, feeling like y'all can raise boys into men, this is the problem that we're going to have, right? Because it doesn't matter how well of a person you raise him to be, he still has to learn to be a man. And if he is growing up in a single household, he's going to look to other men to teach him how to be a man. And if those men are all partaking in toxic things, then that is what it'll be. Again, that's besides the point because we're not even talking about that. We talking about Chris that done grew up in a 2-parent household. But now we can switch over to Lance because Lance seemingly is a decent part man. He has a thriving business. He got it going on, baby. That's what it seemed like when it comes to Lance. However, what I don't like about Lance is, again, that weird animosity that he has towards Alexi. Because, granted, I'm not saying Alexi is perfect. That's not what I'm saying at all because she aggravating as hell to me. I'm just saying that she's valid with a lot of things that she's saying. And everybody trying to sit down and invalidate her experience is actually why she feels the way that she does. I would love to go in more depth about this once I learn more about the family. I absolutely love the Fletchers. I love their transparency. I appreciate them for opening up and speaking about this. I think that this has sparked a lot of conversation with my generation because I've had conversations about the Fletchers literally since the episode aired with a lot of my friends. We want to break this down because it's so many of us that can relate. Carlos, producers, if y'all are smart, y'all would hone in into the Fletchers a bit more. We want to know everything about them. I like Kiki, okay? She got an attitude. I don't know what the attitude about, but I like her. She's fashion forward. Kayla is feisty, like her damn mama. I want to know more about Kayla, Alexi and her man. Okay, Alexi done hop flight, all right? She done jump ship. She is the black sheep of the family. I love that for her because the black sheep always supersede anything that they are, anything. They always supersede anything. Shout out to the black sheeps of the world. It's just so much about the Fletchers that I want to know. I'm so excited. I need to know about Alexi's mom. I want to know about Lance and his daddy. It's a lot going on, okay, y'all? Y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so you guys are up to date each and every time that